Hi, it is currently midnight on a Saturday night, and you know what that means? It is time to discuss personal finance. I know, we're all tired of it. We don't want to discuss money with everything that's going on, but you know what? You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of going to work. So I want to retire early, so let us discuss how we can make that happen. I've had an amazing Saturday. I hope you have too. I was at the park with a few friends. Responsible, of course. We were socially distant from everyone else, and we had some juice. So I will be continuing the juicing, and that is how I will get through this. We can get through this. Just grab yourself some juice, drink responsibly, and let's dig into it. So my first plan of attack is to look at my earnings statement on my work laptop, get everything down, and then we'll discuss how much I spend in a month and see if I can pump in more money. And I apologize before we get into this because I don't think I will get into exact amounts. I'll be discussing my expenses and everything in terms of percentages because, you know, like, I don't know who's on here. I don't know who's gonna dox me. I don't know who's gonna like come after me for the money that I make, whether it be like too high or too low in their opinion. So we're gonna keep this relatively as percentages because, you know what, I have a full-time job and I don't want to get in trouble. So like I don't make money off of YouTube, so I gotta protect my one and only source of income. So what prompted me to make this video or start recording it is basically I've been thinking about retiring since high school, since I like stopped going to high school and started college before I even had a job. But recently, with everything that is going on, the pandemic, I've noticed I've been saving a lot more money, and therefore I should pump more money into my 401k. So I think at the beginning of this year, I was still at the exact match. My employer gives me 6%, so I had 6% in allocated to putting into my 401k. At that time, I think I was still building my savings account to where I wanted it to be. I think I have a more conservative number than most people. So like I do have 6 months. I think I have a bit more, but you know, like things fluctuate. If we're just talking about like rent, food, utilities, I do have at least 6 months of savings saved up, but I also feel like I have more left over at the end of the month that could be going towards my 401k. And if you didn't know, you could put, I think, up to $19,000 or $19,500 in your 401k, excluding your employer match. So like if your employer matches you to, like say you put in like 19k and like your employer matches you like a percentage of that, which is like 5k or whatever, that 5k like doesn't count towards your max. So I want to try and max my 401k. I don't think I can do this year just because I have a lot to catch up on, and realistically with New York rent and expenses, can't do that. But I want to see how much more I can do because I feel like if I get on the exponential train that goes like this, I guess this way for you, your money just grows. And I am 24, about to be 25, and if I pump money into it, my money's gonna go by the time I would like to retire. So let's get into it. So I wrote down everything I needed in my little notebook right here. Basically, I just went onto my work laptop, got my earnings statement, got all the numbers I needed. I get paid twice a month, so I'll have to double that and then figure out all the deductions, the taxes, everything, and see what we come to. So I'm about to input all my numbers into a spreadsheet, double it, do the percentages just like I said, but I think I should address this because, like, how do I not know like what my monthly budget is? How do I not know my expenses, even though I care so much about retirement and personal finance on a Saturday night? It is because I automate everything. I put in more money than I need to in my 401k. I put more money, not more money, I put money into my Roth IRA every year to the full amount as much as I can, and I put everything else in savings, and I have like automated direct deposits to my like investment account for my IRA and personal investments, and then automated direct deposits into my savings account. So that's how I think about like my income. I think about it top down. So as long as I automate everything, I don't have to really get into like the nitty gritty of like what I spent or like what I can or cannot spend. So as long as like by the end of the month or like by the next time I get paid, I have above a certain amount in my savings and checkings, I know that I'm doing okay because I did all the hard work beforehand of figuring out like what my savings goals are. So yeah, highly recommend because you know, there's no stress associated with it. Like I know that each month I have money to spend. If I want to spend on food, I can. If I wanted to spend on myself, I can. Love it. Two sips. Because I just ran my numbers. I got my full take-home pay. I took out my Roth IRA deductions. I like usually just like pump it in with my bonus money that I get from my job or like my ESPP. Then I deducted out my savings that I automate. I took out my rent that I have to pay, took out my utilities, took out dining / like ordering, groceries, and then like my miscellaneous like fun money. And I realized I really don't have that much left. Like not enough to like raise my percentage for my 401k to like get it up, which I am a little bit sad about, but I think that means I've done really well with budgeting and paying myself first. So we'll take that as a win. Let me just build out this little pie chart and we'll talk about it. So just made the pie chart. Before we get into it and I expose myself, let's grab our juice and cheers. All right, this is a percentage.
Did you guys hear that? I'm scared.
The pie graph will show just percentages, but like, use your imagination. I work in finance, tech, consulting in New York City, and fresh out of college. Well, 2 years out of college. So like, use your imagination, like do some little research, like you'll know how much I make basically. We all make the same amount being 24 years old in New York City, unless you can like software design, software engineer to like nobody's business. If you work in like the finance, tech, consulting industry, we all make around the same amount, which is sub 100K, whether it be like a little bit more, a little bit less, who knows. I will pop it on screen, so like my face is probably like tiny right now. If not, like make me tiny. So I'm just gonna go through and, you know, what catches my eye, I'll discuss. First thing I notice, taxes, 26.7%. That's a quarter of my paycheck gone in taxes, which is fine because, you know, like taxes make my life better in New York City, like have tons of amenities. Public transportation is available, unlike, you know, Dallas where I am from. Nice roads, good schools I don't attend, bomb-ass public library that I also don't use. But, you know, like, I think taxes are, like, really good, so fine. A quarter of my paycheck, no big deal. The next big chunk is my rent, 20%. Do you see that? Please clap. 20.7%. I thought I was like overpaying. Like obviously like, okay, 20% is when you take into account like your gross income, like isn't that much. Like I feel like when I take out like all my other expenses, my take-home pay, it like becomes like half of my take-home pay, which kind of scary, but also like I have a good savings account, a rainy day emergency fund, so like I'm not afraid of it. So, but anyway, 20% out of my gross paycheck, amazing. Next thing is my 401k. Right now it's at 15%. 14.9. I recently just moved it up to 17% because, let me jump ahead. My Roth IRA I put at 6.7 because I'm looking at it for the whole year, but for this year, I've already put the full amount in, so I kind of don't have to worry about that. So basically just take like 3% from that and like put into the 401k. Next, a big thing I see is my ESPP at 10%. Highly recommend it. Like, it's free money. Like, your employer lets you take a percentage. Mine is like max 10 out of my paycheck to go towards like just a fund. At the end of the term, we have ours like twice a year. At that time, I get to purchase my company stock for 15% less. And what I do is like I sell it right away, because like holding stock in one company is never good, especially the one you work at, because you know, like, you shouldn't shit where you eat, or I guess like you shouldn't eat where you shit. So I sell it straight away. You can keep it if you want, but like I just sell it straight away and use that 15% gain to beef up my emergency account, save for my Roth IRA for the following year. I consider it just basically like an automatic savings account, which is great. Highly recommend. You should do it. It's free money. Let's see. The next thing I see is my savings I automate. I think I automate, like, well, it says 3%. So at the end of the month, whatever I have in my checkings account, I do X amount, 3%, go straight towards my high yield savings account. But what I've been discovering is I can actually like shuck away more than 3%, but I just put 3% now because it's like easy. Next thing is medical insurance. 2%, not bad, whatever, let's move on. Utilities, 2%, cool. I think the next chunk we should discuss me like being better at is my miscellaneous groceries and dining. So 3, 7, and 3, so like 13% of my gross paycheck goes towards miscellaneous spending, groceries, and dining. And like when I put dining, it's like ordering out. So like a little bit more for like tip and like delivery fees, but 13%, I feel like I can get that down. When I look at the actual numbers, I'm actually kind of shocked by how much I spend. Like, obviously, okay, you know what? Like, I prioritize food and eating because it's good. Also, like, you have to do it to live. And also, like, we're in a pandemic. Like, what else am I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna order food and just eat it. But I think I can start making more food at home. And I feel like, you know, cut my dining down to like 1%. And then if I do it at home, I'd just add like another 1% to my groceries. So like net effectively, yeah, like I'm cutting like 1% from just like spending that I don't need to be spending. For miscellaneous, I recently moved, so like miscellaneous stuff is just like things I need to get settled, but also like grooming stuff, or I don't know, stuff I like need around the house. Usually like I would put my like gaming expenses, like hobbies and clothing here, but like I recently did a video of how I'm not buying clothes, so I feel like miscellaneous can like go down a bit more. I think like my subway passes are also here. Like whenever I ride the subway to anywhere, it's $2.75, and then like going home is $2.75, so it's like $5.50 just to like go out and do stuff. Which leaves me with, I think, if I'm seeing, I don't think you can see it like on the pie chart, but I have 0.5%. Yeah, 0.5% left in terms of like money that like I just don't spend. Which tells me I think I am doing a great job at budgeting, like I said before. What would make me nervous if I would have too much left over, because that means I'm missing out on my 401k investments, Roth IRA, like wherever, like my investments, I'm just missing out. Or if I had negative, which means I spend too much. But looking at this, I think I'm doing a great job. So cheers, cheers. Yo, the Asian glow is coming full force and I am ready for bed. But I'm glad I did this exercise, right? Because I now know that I'm actually on track. I think what I will do, like I've been continuously like pumping more like I've been raising my percentages for my 401k. So like it's not at 15 right now, it's at 17, but that's because I don't have to like pump money into my Roth IRA. So like actually what this is telling me is I can take that whole 6.7% from my Roth IRA and just put it into my 401k and try and catch up. So what's 15 plus like 6? 21. Oh, I can put 21% into my 401k and just like have that sit. On Monday, when I open my work laptop again, I will change my percentage from 17 to 20. We'll save that 1% just in case. And I still won't hit the like 19K per year or for this year, but you know what? Like the more I can put away as a 20-something-year-old, the better I will be, the quicker I can retire and like not have to think about this anymore. And I want to say like disclaimer, like I always do, like I recognize that like this is privilege that I'm like discussing right here. Like people cannot put away money in their 401k, their Roth IRA, automate their savings, like take advantage of their employer's ESPP because they just have expenses. Like I feel like no one, well, you hear about all these like people that live paycheck to paycheck and like spend frivolously, but I think the majority of like the average Americans, no one wants to live paycheck to paycheck if they can help it. So I don't know, like this is, I think it's great what I'm doing of just like putting myself first and like saving money, but at the same time I recognize that like this is beyond what a lot of people can do. Like when I looked up what the average American net worth is like at 20-something years old or like even 30, it's negative because people are paying off their student loans. I'm lucky in the fact that like I went to a state school and like I had grants and scholarships, so I was able to pay off the remaining balance of my like student debt within the first year of me working full-time. So like all of this is just putting me ahead, which is like snowballing, and like a lot of people just don't have that, and I don't know, sucks. Like as a nation, I think we could be better. We could have universal income, we could have free education, we could have free healthcare, because my medical insurance has 2%, but realistically, whenever I go to the doctors, like there's always like some cost associated with just a copay or like medicine that I have to buy. But anyway, hope you have a wonderful day. You should get some juice. Highly recommend. The weather is nice. We are still in a pandemic. People shouldn't be going into places, but the park is open, the park is outside, you can be socially distant from other people, so highly recommend it. It is getting cold soon, so visit while you can and like have some juice. All right, cheers. This is a lot. Like I'm gonna have to edit all of this. Like bye, cheers.